Texas Lutheran University.
Welcome to the seminar on this Friday afternoon. We have a little out of the ordinary from our usual talks on science. Today we have Ms. Garza here from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA. Which is a very large agency. You have no idea what the USDA touches in your everyday life, but in about an hour you will know, right? So, I can never remember your title. So Ruby is the Regional Director of Texas for the Hispanic-Serving Institutions National Program. So TLU is an HSI for Hispanic-Serving institutions, and Garza is in charge of those for the state of Texas. So there's a lot to tell you about USDA and about jobs and internship opportunities. Good afternoon. Like you said, I work for the USDA Hispanic-Serving Institutions National Program. That doesn't mean I only work with Hispanic students. I work with those institutions that are designated as such, and those are institutions that have 65% enrollment of Hispanic students. So everything I cover today is open to all students regardless of where they come from. I just want to start by asking, besides biology and chemistry, what other majors are you working for?
Business.
Psychology?
Business.
Ag literature?
Oh,
Okay, so I just wanted to ask, that way I know how to tailor my presentation when I talk about specific agencies in my department. Like Dr. Gray said, USDA is a very large agency and a lot of and so we have a lot of agencies and offices within our department. A lot of individuals don't realize how big our department is. That said, what do you think USDA is? Besides what you see in the picture.
Does it like sort of control the production of maybe like food and like different kinds of food like meat and vegetation?
Yes, several of our agencies do that as well. Anything else come to mind when you think of USDA?
Like national forest?
Forest. Yes, a lot of people don't realize that the Forest Service, Smoky Bear, is actually part of the USDA. I guess in relation to MC, they work for animals. USDA was founded in 1862 by President Abraham Lincoln. We're known as the People's Department. We recently celebrated our 150th anniversary, and so we like to say that we affect people every day in every way. In school, when you were in high school or elementary, how many of y'all have free breakfast and free lunch? That is actually the USDA service, through Food and Nutrition Services, which falls in the department. How many of y'all have seen My Plate or Pyramid? That is also USDA. So even though we are about agriculture, farming, food, nutrition, we do have meat inspectors. When I commonly tell people that I work for USDA, I always get, are you a meat inspector? And so, no, I'm not a meat inspector. We do have 7 mission areas, and I briefly want to go over these mission areas and the agencies that fall under each mission area, and then I'll talk about internship opportunities. But I want to give you an idea of how big USDA is and what our agencies do and what kind of careers are available at each agency. And so we have 7 mission areas: farm, foreign agricultural services, food, nutrition, and consumer sciences, food safety, marketing and regulatory programs, natural resources and environment, research, education, economics, and data development. And so farm and foreign agricultural service, we have the Farm Service Agency, which actually looks for a lot of business majors. We provide loans to a lot of farmers and ranchers, and so if you're a business major, you would have to get the Farm Service. We also have a lot of attachés in other countries, so there's a foreign ag service if you'd like to go abroad, that would be your agency. And then we have risk management agency, which looks at the risk for certain crops and stuff. Food and Nutrition Consumer services, which is food nutrition services, which has the school free lunch and breakfast program, the summer program. WIC is also under the USDA. We also have the Food Stamp program, formerly known as the Food Stamp program, now known as SNAP. And then the Center for Nutrition Policy and Promotion, which is MICRO. Food safety, which is commonly the meat inspectors or inspect other food plants. And so that's food safety and inspection service. Marketing and regulatory programs has 3 agencies, and that's Agricultural Marketing Service, which is responsible for marketing of agriculture in the United States. But then we also have a lot of grants under that agency. So many of you have seen farmers markets start to pop up more. They do have grants for the farmers market promotion program through ag marketing service. That agency looks for a lot of individuals who are studying communications, English, because a lot of it is writing. Animal Plant Health Inspection Service has several agencies, and they're responsible for inspecting who comes across from the border or Canada or Mexico. And so they inspect a lot of what's coming across, whether it's plants, produce, also cattle. I'm based in the Rio Grande Valley. I'm from McAllen, and we are close to Reynosa, and so we have a lot of cattle that come from Mexico, and so they're inspected through APHIS. We also do grain inspection, so grain inspection packers and stockyards, and they inspect those grain inspectors, packers and stockyards. Natural Resources and Environment, like I said, the Forest Service, so Smoky Bear, and Natural Resource Conservation Service, which is probably found in pretty much every county in the state of Texas, and they work also with producers and ranchers to conserve our natural resources. Research, education, and economics. So if you're a science major and you're interested in research, the Agricultural Research Service Lab has over 100 labs across the country that are interested in various topics on agricultural. But we also have 7 nutrition research labs, the closest one being in Houston, and they do children's nutrition research, which Dr. Ray worked at this past semester. And we also have a lab in Kerrville that looks at cattle fever tick. We have a research lab in College Station as well. So a lot of labs across the country doing research. National Institute of Food and Agriculture, they're primarily responsible with giving grants that support research, education, and economics. So many of y'all know Extension Texas AgriLife. That is funded through NIFA and so under that agency. Economic Research Service, and then National Agricultural Statistics Service, which actually has an office in Austin. So they're responsible for doing the census of agriculture every 10 years. And so if you're interested in math and statistics, that would be a good thing. And our last one is rural development. And it's one agency in this mission area. They have 3 different branches: rural utilities, rural business, and rural housing. And so through this agency, they provide a lot of grants and loans to rural communities for housing or rural facilities. Some communities apply for loans and grants to provide wastewater treatment, a new fire department, a community health center, just a variety of grants and loans available through rural development. So if you're also a business major, this is a great agency to look at. And so I just want to go over 4 tracks that most of our jobs at USDA look into, and then kind of look at the types of majors that fall into each one. And so if you're interested, or if you're studying any of these degrees, they fall into one of the management. So business administration, accounting, your finance, economics. I also have a lot of students that are studying, have a master's degree in public administration that have done work with human resources and stuff. So do more management positions. And then if you're studying your sciences, psychology, mathematics, those would fall under science and technology. I'll touch on psychology real quick because you were talking about it earlier. I had a student this summer who was from Michael's institution at UTPA. She was a psychology major. And she admitted that when she got the call to get the internship, she was like, what am I going to do at USDA? I'm a psychology major. She wasn't sure what to expect. She actually looked at a lot of survey results on employee satisfaction for the department. And so she looked at our responses and coming up with that. So that's just one example of a psychology major at USDA. And then agribusiness and industry, of course, which will be your ag econ, your ag business, ag education. You don't necessarily have to have the agriculture business degree, but if you're a business, you have a business degree and have ag experience, that helps. Even your food science and nutrition. So I'm the regional director. I help create strategic links between the department and each side. I work with faculty and staff to identify grant opportunities, but then I also work with students to identify career opportunities for you. I didn't give you a little bit of background info. So my undergrad is actually in community health, so health and kinesiology, and I have a master's in business. And so I've been with USD about 5 years. And when I first was asked to apply for the position, I thought, well, what am I going to do at USD? I went to A&M, so I went to an ag school, but I don't have an ag background. My parents were farmers, neither farm workers, and my grandfather was agriculture, but no ag experience. But I bring to the table, I actually do a lot of community outreach before, and so I worked with students before, and now I still do. But I also have a lot of experience in marketing, because I ran a nonprofit. So I think I'll be back in 2 minutes. I just want to talk about internships now. How many of y'all are interested in internships for the summer, perhaps? So just some of the benefits of doing an internship, you're able to apply what you've learned in the classroom in an actual work setting. Career exploration, sometimes you think you know what you want to do, and then you graduate and you get a job and you're like, oh. My cousin graduated from law school, and she was a lawyer, and she just so career exploration is definitely a good thing if you're not sure or you're unsure, what you want to do. You gain valuable work experience that looks great on your resume, and so it's a resume builder to help. It gives you that competitive edge over someone who possibly did not do an internship, or someone who even might have a little bit higher GPA but didn't have that experience in you do. It's a great networking opportunity as well. I have a friend who did a HACU internship, which I'll mention briefly, and she got an offer to intern at the Department of Transportation. She was a political science major, and she thought, I do not want to work at the Department of Transportation. What am I going to do? She took the opportunity because she wanted to go to DC, and she thought she'd try it. She worked for the Secretary of Transportation at the time, who in turn wrote her letter for Harvard Law School. And so she got into Harvard Law. And so you just never know. So it's great networking, and you could possibly transition into a full-time position when you graduate. That's how I was able to secure my first job out of college. I had to do an internship. It was unpaid because it was part of my degree requirement, so I had to complete it. But I did get a job when I graduated. So the internship program we like to promote a lot is the HACU National Internship Program. It's the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. Again, you do not have to be Hispanic. And there's federal agencies and corporate sector opportunities as well. So it's not just with the federal government. So we are one of their largest partners. This summer we had close to 120 interns just through this program. They're available in the fall, spring, or summer, so whenever it works for you. I will tell you that I think the spring deadlines are coming up, and then the summer deadline will be in early March. And so just a few eligibility requirements. You must be currently enrolled in an academic program, whether it's associates, your bachelor's, master's, or doctoral program, and you must have completed your freshman year. I know we're seeing a lot of students in high school come in with some hours, but you must have completed 1 year of college at university. And also have a minimum 3.0 GPA. I still like to encourage students who don't have that 3.0 but have a lot of experience to apply, because we do see that sometimes students in a particular major we don't have a lot of candidates for. So I always encourage students to apply even if it's just below a 3.0. And you must be eligible to work in the United States. So the reason that we like to promote this program is because they are paid. You're paid according to your academic level. If you consider travel to and from the internship site, so most of our internship sites through this program are in Washington, D.C., but they could be throughout the country. Like I said, Forest Service falls under the USDA, and we have a lot of locations in Washington, Oregon, New Mexico. And so your travel is paid for. If it's not in Washington, D.C., you still get to go to D.C. for a 2-day orientation. again, all your travel is covered through the program. They don't pay for housing, but they do help facilitate housing. And so you are placed with other students in the program, and the housing is deducted from your bi-weekly pay. And you have networking opportunities and professional development activities. They usually have monthly or bi-weekly sessions where they bring in all the interns together. I know USDA has hosted it in DC. The State Department has also hosted it. Again, we're just one of several federal agencies that participate in this program. Before I continue, the website's on the bottom, but another great opportunity for possibility, they have an annual conference every year. They have a student track, and USDA sponsors several students to attend that conference. And so their application will typically open this semester or early in the spring, and our next conference is in Miami. So if you're interested in applying, I encourage you to do so. They pay for everything, again, all your hotel, student registration, your food, and your travel. And you can find that on the website as well, at HACU.net. So the other program I want to talk to is more of a federal programming. So when I talk about this program, it pertains to all federal agencies. So while some of you might not want to work at USDA, I certainly understand that, but if you're interested in another federal job, this applies to all federal agencies. And so the Pathways program was created, and there's 3 components, and I'll touch on 2. The internship program and recent graduate program. All of these positions are found on USAJobs.gov, and so that is the website where you also find permanent position announcements and temporary, but you'll also find the student program announcements on that website. The internship opportunity, you must be a student. Each agency is responsible for administering these announcements and positions. They can be related to your academic career goals or your field of study. So if you're pursuing a business degree, it would be related to that. And it possibly may not be. But there are some positions that can be converted to a permanent or a time-limited position, and they can be full-time or part-time. And so depending on where it is, if it's in the summer as well, it could be full-time, or if it's close to where you're studying, it could be a part-time position. And again, those are all announced on USAJobs.gov, which I'll talk about briefly. So eligibility, you must be a student. You can also be a high school student, but you must be a student enrolled in a degree program and just pursuing any degree or certificate, so it could be a technical or vocational school as well. Recent graduates program. That's actually how I was brought into the federal government. I completed my MBA and I was able to come into this program. And so this is like a one-year internship. So if you graduated, so say you graduated in May or in December, you can apply for these positions within 2 years. And then at the end of the 1 year, it can be converted also into a permanent position. All of these announcements are also administered by each agency. So when you go to USAJobs, you'll search by a specific agency. Eligibility, you must have completed a degree within the last 2 years, with the exception if you're a veteran, you have as much as 6 years, so depending if you have an assignment, military assignment. And so, has anybody gone to USAJobs.gov? We talked about it earlier. No? Okay. So USAJobs is the website where all our federal announcements are posted. It's very intimidating, even for me, when I go. And so I always try to tell students what they have to do or how to navigate. And so that's just the website. You can go to USAJobs.gov. And again, this will be the website that you search for all positions, whether it's an internship, recent graduate position, or a permanent position once you graduate. And so you can search by keywords, you can search by location as well. The first thing I like to do is tell students, and that's the pathways if you're looking for internship or recent graduate position. So the first thing I like to tell students is to create an account. And so what we're noticing with this website is that since all our announcements are posted, we're seeing a lot of applications for one position. And so some of these positions are closing within 3 to 5 days. And so once they're posted, if they get a certain number of applicants, they're closed, or they're only open for 4 days. And so what I tell students is create an account, which you can see here, you'll go to the top right-hand corner, it says create an account, and then you'll create an account, and you can also create a profile. And in that profile, you can enter all your information. At the bottom, just make sure to press save. But I want to kind of go through a little bit, and you'll be prompted to enter your contact information, hiring eligibility, so if you're willing to travel, what type of positions you're looking for. So if you're searching more for internships, this is where you would highlight that. So you can highlight the recent graduates or internships. And then demographics. Well, this is the rest of the site, hiring eligibility. So if you're looking for full-time or part-time internships, you could select that. You can also select a location. So if you're only interested in positions in this county or in this state or the surrounding counties, you can enter that as well. I'm from McAllen, so I just entered McAllen and then I can the entire state. On USAJobs, you can also upload your documents, and you can upload your own resume, or you can use the resume builder. So how many of y'all have a resume? Okay, so resumes are a little different from federal positions. They're a little bit longer. So what I encourage students to do is upload their own, but also to use our resume builder so that you can see what a federal resume looks like. It will ask you a lot more information than a typical resume. And I know some employers do prefer the one page. With government jobs, it's a lengthier resume that we like. Even if you have a resume, you have to read this. Make sure you read that. It'll tell you what to include. So if you don't use a resume builder, just make sure you look at that so that you know what information needs to be on your resume, because that is what gets your application done. That is not included. So, like I said, a lot of agencies receive so many applications, and so when the human resource person is looking through resumes, if that resume or application doesn't have what they're looking for, it will be tossed out. You can also add saved documents here. So if you're a veteran, if you have any letters, if you're applying for internships or recent graduate positions, you'll have to upload some of your transcripts or verification of enrollment that you're a student. And so all of those would be under your saved documents. The other reason I encourage students to create an account on USAJobs is because you can create a search. And so I know we don't have time to look at that website every day. And like I said, announcements are coming every day and closing every day. So through a safe search, you enter the criteria for the positions you're interested in. Again, it doesn't have to be with USDA. You can enter other departments and agencies. And when you save the search, if a position is posted that fits those qualifications, you'll get an email. So you already know when that position opens and when it closes. You're going to get an email notifying you about that. And this is where you would enter keywords if you want a recent graduate position, an internship position, a certain type of job. You would enter all of that under keywords. You can also do a salary or pay grade if there's a certain pay grade that you want. Usually beginning pay grades for students who graduated with bachelor's and master's is grade 3 to 7. So you can put that range. And you can also put occupational series or job categories if you know a particular job. So like I am in McAllen, a lot of students tend to go to positions with Customs and Border Protection or Border Patrol. And so they'll look for certain positions under certain occupations. And like I said, you can enter location. You can enter just the state in general, or you can enter counties. So if you have certain counties, and they'll give some major cities in there as well. You can enter which counties you're interested in. And then the departments. And so I selected the Department of Agriculture. Like I said, we have 17 agencies under our department. So it will list all the agencies under the USDA, or if you select the Department of Energy, it will also show the agencies that fall under that. And then the type of work. So again, this is where you would put if you're looking for a permanent position, temporary, an internship, or a recent graduate position. And then you could exclude postings that are longer, for jobs that are taking longer than 30 days. And so some of the positions with the Forest Service, tends to hire a lot of civil engineers and firefighters, and so some of their positions are open year round. And so that would exclude those positions. And And then if you're a veteran, this is where you can select that. And then the last section is how often you want to receive notifications. So since announcements are added every day, you should select daily, but sometimes it can be, I know I select daily, but I have several positions I look for because I'm looking throughout the state, but you could put weekly if you like. But like I mentioned earlier, the positions are open on daily and will close within a few days. And then at the end, just save your search. I think you can create a 7-day search. This is just a sample job announcement, and so it'll give your salary or your promotion potential, and it'll give the duty locations, and so there'll be some positions that you apply for that'll have several locations, and so when you apply, just make sure you look at that as well. And then you can click apply online to start the process. And the job announcement, it'll show you where it's pathways. So if you wanted an internship or recent graduates that was fall under pathways, it'll indicate that in the job announcement. And then full-time or summer, just pay attention to all that information. It'll tell you if it's part-time or full-time or in the spring. I know agencies such as the Forest Service and Natural Resource Conservation Service, they'll actually start posting all their summer internship positions already within the next few weeks. So you'll want to pay attention to that. Applying for jobs. So even if you haven't identified a position that you'd like to apply for, I'd encourage you to start the process and upload all your documents so that once you do identify a position, you can apply quickly. If you have questions on the position, always use the contact information. So on the right-hand corner, or the right side, there's questions about the job, and you can contact that individual for questions. You can email them, call them, if you have any questions. And make sure you call before it closes. I've seen so many students that wait, and then they wait till in the evening, and they have a question, and that person's not there. So just make sure you give yourself enough time when you're applying for that. Resume tips. Like I said, the federal government format for a resume is much longer than other formats, and so use the resume builder if you can, just to get an idea of what is needed. Clearly articulate your skills and capture all your pertinent experience. There's so many students that sometimes don't have actual work experience, okay, they do volunteer. Make sure to include all of that. All of that needs to be on there, regardless of your paid or unpaid. Also your skills, any certifications you have, and someone said physiology, CPR, first aid, all of that should be on there. Use action verbs. So if you're using a bullet format or even a paragraph format when you're talking about your experience, make sure you use a lot of action verbs. One sheet I like to refer students to is a Boston College action verbs for resumes. And if you Google that, it'll give you a sheet with all these action verbs. And then even categorize them into certain skill sets. So communication, research skills, so that's a good sheet to use. Use numbers to highlight your accomplishments. Always include frequency, quantify stuff, so if you're supervising a project or if you're supervising employees, indicate how many. You have to write reports, how often, daily, weekly. Make sure you quantify and add frequency to your job, your duties and responsibilities. And then last but not least, always tailor a resume to the job announcement. One size does not fit all. I ask students to look at a job announcement and see what they're asking and try to fit some of those duties and responsibilities that you felt that you've done them and incorporate them into your resume. After you see each job announcement, you should have a different resume. Even if it changes slightly, but each position you should look at and make changes to your resume. And always update it. After every semester, I think it's safe to say you could add to your resume and make changes. Don't always wait until the last minute because then it gets a little time-consuming. How I can help? Like I said, I know USAJobs.gov is a little intimidating. I would be happy to help. I can also help review your resume. If you're applying through the HACU National Internship Program, that requires an essay. And so I can help review your essay as well. My phone number and my email are listed, and I'm always accessible by email. I might not be in the office all the time, so you can send your resume and I'd be happy to look over it. questions? I know I'm the only one who's Friday.
Any letters of recommendation?
For the HACU National Internship Program, it didn't, and now it's started to. So yes, that's a good question. It'll ask for one letter. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So for HACU, you're eligible. If you graduate in May, you're eligible the semester after. It doesn't pertain to any other semester. So if you graduate in December, you can't do that internship after. Only if you graduate in May.
So what is the graduate this semester? Can you apply for a position for graduates?
You could apply for recent graduate positions. Yes. Yeah, but not for internships. Through pathways, not for internships. You must be a student. Unless you're going to grad school and if you're already accepted, yes. And the same thing. Okay. No questions. Thank you.
For more information, please visit tlu.edu.